Type as Image Module 2. So this week, this module, we're going to discuss type as image. And there's a specific assignment we're going to do. We're going to play with letter forms. Now, the big thing about letter forms is that for most of us, letter forms are basically that. They're just capital letters, they're lowercase letters, there's numbers, there's a handful of symbols, and we leave it at that. But most of us don't really take the time to really examine letter forms for what they can express and how particularly lowercase letters can actually create these beautiful shapes, these beautiful designs when we look at a particular character. And so we're going to play with those shapes and those relationships to create some imagery. I've provided some graphic symbols that we can use to give you an example of how to build this. We're going to do some Olympic game icons, create an only type, and actually have samples of it. So let's go to the module. Before I go to the assignment, let's talk about the discussion this week. And in the discussion this week, we're going to talk about special characters and glyphs. Now, we discussed typefaces last week, and everybody is pretty much of the agreement that the best typefaces out there now are the Adobe Open Typeface fonts, without a doubt. And let me show you why they're so significant. Let me open up an Illustrator file, just a letter page, and I'm going to put the word character, okay? And I'll scale it up. And let's pick a font other than Myriad. It's just always the default, right? Now you can kind of see this in Illustrator already. Notice how Palatino is true type because it has the TT. If it has a cloud symbol, that means that it's actually a downloadable font from Adobe, which means it's Open Typeface. And then you have Rockwell here, which I think I have loaded. I think Adobe also makes it available. And this shows you that it's an Open Typeface if it has the O. Tahoma's Open Typeface, this Thornberry, and even the Times is a true type font, right? So you can see kind of what they are just by looking at them. So if I were to pick a typeface, let's say I went with, let's go with an Open Typeface. I want to get something that maybe, let's see, I want to get a serif face if I had a choice. So maybe I will go with Clarendon or I don't like any of these. Well, I can't believe I don't have any serif faces. Courier, nope. I can go with Clarendon maybe, if that's going to work. I'm going to look at the Electra. Okay, let's go with Electra. So it's a serif face type. And if you've never explored it, this is where it is. You go under the type menu to glyphs, and it brings up all these extra characters that exist in this font. And I can scroll down, and you can see, actually, this one doesn't have that many. I picked a bad font to do this with. Let's find another one. How about Acumen? How about Futura? Let's see if Futura has any. Futura doesn't have that many either. So I'm going to have to find a font that has enough to play with. Acumen? Acumen's got a lot. So I take the word character, and I'm going to play with it a little bit. And what I can do is I can change things about this. So I can actually select this H, for example, the lowercase h. And let's go to lowercase h. So they have different variations of it. Say I wanted to do this. Let's play with the A's. What do we have with the lowercase a's? They have all of these with all these little symbols on them. So I could do something like, I don't know, this. And maybe on the other A, I want to do this. And let's see if they have even more beyond that. They actually do. So if I wanted to do something kind of weird with the C, let's scroll down to what's available here. So they have this C here, this C, and this one. That looks like a G. That is a C, kind of a dollar symbol C. And it looks like they have other variations. Maybe that. What do they have with the lowercase t? They have some stuff here. I'm going to go down further, see if they have any other options with a T. I don't see any other. Oh, they kind of have some funky T's here. Nope, nope, not seeing much anything else that I could play with. So I could do something like this with the T, for example. Okay, so you have all these options, and depending upon the font, you could have a lot of options here. I mean, you could kind of go almost crazy with some of these if you really wanted to play with them in terms of what can be done. And that's not only that, but you also have all these symbols. And if you get into some of these fonts, they'll have what's called woodcuts. Now, I don't know if I have any woodcut fonts loaded. I don't have many fonts loaded on here. These are all TrueType. So if I were to use Apple Symbols, for example, it does have some glyphs in here that we could use. Quite a few, actually. Even for, oh, it has a lot. Look at all of these glyphs it has. Amazing amount of glyphs here with this TrueType font. And here I am talking about the virtues of using Open Typeface, and they have all of these glyphs in the Apple Symbols. So let's put the word type. And I want to find something that has some type of, that's about Enchanted. Nope, not a whole lot of choices there with Enchanted. So it's just a matter of just exploring to see what's available. Open Sans. Yep. And I'm surprised I don't have like Caslon on here. Adobe Caslon, there it is. Okay, now this has a nice serif face. Here they are. So we have some nice woodcut ornaments that we could use, for example, that can play this out. Some of these fonts, if you could find a good looking serif, not a serif, but a decorative face, you can get some really nice flourishes. But this gives you a lot more possibilities for this assignment by playing with the glyphs. So let's look at what the assignment is before we go any further. Let's go back to Module 2. And for this assignment, what you're going to do is create a, using the Summer Olympics theme, you're going to find 3 Olympic sports. You can use reference photos, design figures, whatever you want to use, and you can only use typographic elements to create a type as image sample. Now I'm going to show some that are relevant to this assignment, so you could download these and look at them. Now these, fortunately, I use winter sports. So here's a skater. This is the cross-country, I don't know what that thing's called, where they have the rifle. And then these are just other examples of type used as image. I just wanted to include those. Here's one of faces, things like that. The best program to do this in would be Adobe Illustrator, without a doubt, because you have more flexibility with the type in terms of creating this. And look at this is all just, it's almost all just the parentheses, almost completely, except for the C here, but it's, and you have an O, but it's almost all parentheses. So it would be best to use Adobe Illustrator to create this for one simple reason, because you can do this. You can take this type and you can create an outline with it. If I can select it, let me select it. That would help. Get this window out of the way. I can select this and go to type, and I can go to create outlines. And of course, once it's vectored, then I can come in here and play with the shapes in terms of what I can do with it, because it's no longer something that can be modified. And the good thing about that too is when you start to create shapes, say you use a bracket, for example, and then you can create these shapes, and then, you know, we kind of have almost a face there, right? And then if I use a different one, and maybe I put an O, make that a little bit larger, and then I've got the eyes a little bit too big, but I can make it smaller. You know, and I'm slowly making a face as I start to build this out just by using type characters. So that's what you're going to do for this. You're going to select the Summer Olympic of your choice and create some type of element from it. Now again, if you wanted to use some kind of imagery to help build it, let's say for example we look for, let's not do gymnastics, let's do volleyball. And I'm going to go to images, and I want to find the specific image of a spike. See, that's a good image there, but most of the time volleyball, that's a good image we could use. It's usually the spike where they're about to come up right on it. Let's do volleyball. Spike. Oh, not spime. Spike. Let's look up spike. Here's a good image here. Here's a good image here we could use. And here's one here. I mean, so let's say we use this image. We'll save it. I'll put it on my desktop for now. And if you brought this into Adobe Illustrator to help create your type image, then it's just a matter of, I'll get rid of all of this right now. It's just a matter of going to place, because I've downloaded it to my desktop, and I get this image and I hit place and it comes in. And let's say I want to use the middle one. So if I want to use the middle one, all I have to do is just, I think I can just crop out whatever I don't want. Or I think I can just change the window here. See if it'll, nope, you don't want to do that. You don't want to scale it. Oh, it came in as vectored. Well, that's even better. So I can just get rid of these. Perfect. That's even better. So I can just get rid of those images. And then what I can do is if I put this on layers, just lock that layer underneath it, create a new layer on top of it, and then I start bringing letters in here and characters to slowly build this image up of volleyball as an example. And I drop these shapes in here and then draw the thing up. And then once it's drawn, you just turn off the back layer and there you go. You've got your first shape done. So that's one way to go about it, or you could sketch it out yourself and then bring that in and do it that way. So there's a variation of ways that you can accomplish the Module 2 assignment. Now, of course, once it's done, save it as a PDF for submission, and then also post it into the discussion critique. Again, like every week, the discussion is due Wednesday. Do follow-ups to at least 2 other students by Friday. The assignment that you do of the type as image is due Saturday, of the images, the images. And then post it also Saturday night into the critique discussion so you can do the critiques on Sunday. I will open up Module 3 on Sunday, so you'll be able to view all of that.